Welcome, welcome, welcome. Change some settings here and we will get right into today's agenda. Let me know where you're tuning in from. If it's your first day back here, if you're joining us here for the first time, or if you've been here since Monday, go ahead and throw that in the comment as well. We're going to get a few things here situated before we go live. All right. Let's see here. Pull this up. Today's going to be extra fun in the sense that we're going to bring everything together and then get ready to. So without further ado, welcome to day 3 of the 5-day challenge. My commitment to you today on day 3 is fun, knowledge, and implementation. Implementation is what we're going to finish up today with, no matter what. And that's the commitment you made. And if you're here for the first time, that's the commitment I need you to make. John, what you share, I'm going to implement. I'm going to take it. I'm going to make it mine. I'm going to use it as inspiration, motivation, best practice. And I'm going to make it my own because my market is not your market. And I'm going to go, what do you mean? And you're going to say, because I'm hyper local. Hyper local. Yeah. I'm in my town, my city, my radius. You're in who knows where. I'm hyper local. I got to make it my style, right? So I want you to type in the comments, hyper local, my style, implementation. We're here today for day 3, sales and prospecting. And it's really broad. It's a broad title, right? But I'm going to get you some of the most important parts based on the experience, my opinion, feedback, what we've seen people ask for, what we've seen people do to get started at the level they're at. And the great thing about what I'm going to share with you is it might be a refresher, it might be brand new, it might be a combination of both, but it's yours for the taking. So day 3, prospecting and sales training. Tomorrow, we're jumping into fulfillment. And then Friday, we're bringing this home. We're bringing this home to the finish line with retention and ascension. John, I got like 10 customers. They're great. I'm like a month in with each or 2 months with each, and they want more. What do I give them? What do I do? I didn't expect this. I don't know where to go from here. So we're going to get you the right guidance, right? The right best practice. And today's agenda specifically has everything to do with identifying qualified candidates in your hyper-local market. Now, there's a whole bunch more that's in each of these bullet points that we're going to go over. All right, do a couple of bonus slides, but there is a bunch more. But I don't want you to feel overwhelmed. I'm not going to go out of my way to do a bunch of email campaigns. I'm not going to go out of my way to position my product, right? And if that's the case, that's fine. But I will give you the warning, the disclaimer, you're going to have to adjust that just a little bit, maybe like a whole lot. But I'm going to show you how. I'm going to show you a way that it's going to be fun. It's not going to be intimidating because what I'm privileged about is I love what I do, so I do it and I learn, I listen, and I'm able to help others. But what I want you to do is make it for you. So my ask of you is in the comments, jot down your feedback, your questions, your pushback, your opinion, your thoughts as we go. We're pulling the raffle at the end of this live session. We give about a 30-minute timeline, right? 30-minute timeline after the live ends for people to come and catch up. And then we pull that winner the next day. So, Jordan, drum roll, please. Our winner from yesterday is... Check the comments below. The winner's below. Go ahead and check the comments below. Give them a shout out. Show them some love. That is our winner below. Congratulations. We have a gift card to our swag store on the way to you. We can't wait for you to wear your swag, show off your swag, and just feel good about your participation, but also we feel good to have you here. So, identifying quality candidates has everything to do with knowing your local market. So, in your local market, you need to identify who's going to be good for reputation management. Because in your area, if you go out and about and just say, hey, I do marketing, you're just like everybody else. You're just like everybody else, right? That being said, you want to make sure you're starting with a knowledge base of who, what, where, how, and why. So, who do I want to start talking to? Maybe it's home service businesses. Maybe it's chiropractors, health services. Maybe it's chambers of commerce that you have some expertise. You want to start with your expertise. What do you know? And if you don't know a lot about something, this is where you need to start learning a little bit more about something business-wise with business owners, right? So that being said, if you've worked in the restaurant industry, right, or you've worked in the retail business, or you've worked in the medical space, you know something that the general public doesn't know, but because you know that, the person you're speaking to in that industry is going to know that you know what they need or you know what they want, right? So that being said, as you start to have those conversations organically, and what I mean by organically is maybe you meet them by jumping on social media. Maybe you meet them by sending an email. Maybe you meet them by a reference. You have to have a starting point of knowing a little bit about their industry because it's going to get there really quick anyway, right? So we know businesses experience issues with a lot of things, whether it's physically in their store or it's digitally in their business, right? So, we have businesses that their credit card machine stops working, their internet freezes up, their lights and their equipment breaks. Well, they're going to call a specialist or an expert to help them fix that, right? But here's the gap in our digital space. People don't call up an 800 number that's on the back of their computer to get better reviews. They don't call an 800 number or just randomly call a marketing company from Google to say, hey, could you help me with my reviews? At least the majority don't. The majority are speaking to someone who they know, or they're sharing their frustration online and someone saying, hey, you should contact this person. So being known as somebody who can help is important, but knowing how to help is even more important, right? And companies look to enhance their online reputation, even if they don't have a bad reputation, even if they don't have an emergency. So I want you to think of this. You have people that are business people that are reactive and proactive, right? They're reactive in the sense that they got a bad review. I'm going to respond back and I'm just going to have my friends leave more reviews. Or reactive in the sense that I got 10 bad reviews and I'm going to get a lawyer, right? Like everyone has their own reactive approach, right? And unfortunately, everything I just said as an example doesn't solve the problem. Doesn't solve the problem, right? Then you have proactive. Maybe you have a well-established business that has an employee or a family member or someone that looks out for them that says, hey, you're doing great. Why don't you tell this story? Why don't you ask people for this? Why don't you go ahead and do this so you can get ahead of the game, right? You need to have that mindset to help others understand it. And that's where you come in as the expert. So with that being said, understanding the local marketing dynamics is knowing the industries, the businesses, the services, the type of people that are in the area, and being able to understand like what's going on. So let's say in your market, you have you live in a town or a city or a state or a region that has a lot of new businesses opening up. It's thriving. It's just people are moving in, new stores, new gyms, new retail, new restaurants. That's a good place to be networking, a good place to be aware of, right? And then you start to be able to see, all right, well, this place is growing. What else in the area is growing, or what else in the area is not growing as much, right? So you driving around or using Google Maps or looking at news press releases in your local area is being in the know. You got to be in the know. Go ahead and type in the comments, be in the know, okay? And as you start doing that, you're going to start to identify key competitors, key businesses, right? Those businesses that are they're not big box stores, but they have a big presence. They have a quality presence, right? That's so important. And for you to know, like, let's say it's the best restaurant in town, you need to know who they are. The best plumber in town, you need to know who they are. But you may be asking, how do I find out who's who? By looking at their reviews. If you look at their reviews, start with Google, you could even end with Google. If you look at their reviews and you see on the Google Maps who's top 3 and who follows below, you'll start to see a trend that they're always top 3, or people are saying great things and consistently great things about them. And then you have to just see, like, what are they saying about them? And then you have to look at the businesses in that area that are not top 3. What are they saying about those businesses? And you'll start to identify that those businesses don't even have reviews. They only have 5 reviews versus 50. They are only 7 or 8 of them that have good reviews. The rest have close to nothing, or they're poor reviews. These businesses are out of business. You'll start to know your areas or the areas you want to serve. Now, this comes up a lot. John, where I'm located in my region, my country, my state, my city, I don't want to do door to door. I don't want to go out in person. You don't have to. You don't have to. But you still need to know what's around. You still need to know what's around, right? And as you understand what's around, you start to understand the influence, right? How the influence of the season, how the influence of the weather, right? If you're in an area and there's always, storms, the roofers are always booming, right? Construction's always booming, right? If there's an area that you're in and a certain amount of time people, vacationers are coming in, let's say you're in the Bahamas, let's say you're in wherever you're at, in Mexico somewhere, or you're in Italy, you're in the UK, you're in France, wherever. You have areas in your market that are vacation. And when people come for vacation and they don't know what they don't know, they're looking online for reviews. So for those of you that are in big markets, big areas where hospitality, vacationing, travel is key, well, here's what I want you to do. Here's a pro tip. Start finding the jet ski company. Start finding the catamaran company. Start finding all the tourist places that are on these tourist sites that they're selling their services, and start having the conversation and make sure your reviews are up, right? Jump on TripAdvisor. And if you're out of country, go to the US websites, because think about this. The US resident is looking at a magazine or a website that is particular or pertinent to your area, right? So you want to make sure you're going on our site that's pertinent to us, because we want to know what's going on in your area, right? So we're doing search terms with your region, your state, your country for our entertainment. That's the most important part, is knowing, and almost, reverse engineering. You go on vacation, what do you do? Right? What do you do to find a great restaurant, entertainment, fun? That's what others do. Amazing. So with that market research, we want to use the digital version of this stuff because it's important. So here's an example. There are many high-end travel magazines that still print paper, but they are put onto a digital format. So if there is a high-end travel magazine in your area or in the US that you're aware of, go ahead and look for the digital version, because people are advertising that digital version, whether it's advertising jet skis, catamaran, massage, hair, whatever it is, right? People have weddings overseas on islands out of their country. So what are they doing to find vendors when they have a wedding over there? People have parties. What are they doing to get the planning over there, right? photographers. Think about these things. People that are coming out of the area to your area, they are looking at reviews. Go ahead and type in the comments below, reviews. Research is reviews for the consumer. Research is reviews for the consumer, right? And with that part, now websites like Yelp, Google Business Profile are great areas for you to look for potential clients, for you to start the conversation. Yelp, popular site, but maybe there's an equivalent of Yelp in your area, in your country, in your region, in your state. Maybe there's a hyper-local version of a local directory that people use to make decisions, right? So you want to make sure you're aware of that and start the conversation there, right? And as you do that, you start to see what others are doing in that area with the types of businesses that they have, right? So you start to see one person and then their competitors. So here's the thing. One jet ski company, you want to help them, you reach out a couple times. No answer, move to the next, but mention the other one. So here's an example. Let's say this is, let me find a name. Let's say this is Fast and Furious Jet Skis, right? They have 60 reviews, right? But their 60 reviews is a 4.0 stars. There's room for improvement there, right? Because there's some stuff that is a little concerning. So I'm reaching out to Fast and Furious. I sent a text. I followed them on LinkedIn, followed them on Facebook, send them a DM, nothing, crickets. When I call them, it goes to voicemail. These people even open? These people even open? No problem. Let me find the next one. I go to number 2 on that list. And that one's called Speedy Jet Skis. And I'll do something like this. Hey, is this Speedy Jet Skis? Hey, great. Yeah. I'm traveling from out of the country to you guys. I want to put together a couple of jet skis with some family and friends. Could you tell me a little bit of how it works? Amazing. I ended up trying to call somebody else. Seems like you're the only one answering the phone. I didn't see a lot of reviews about y'all though, right? I didn't see a lot of recent reviews. Are you guys open and everything? Like, I expect to see more reviews, right? And maybe they say, oh yes, no, maybe so, whatever the case may be. Well, now you have to find that transition to say, hey, look, my trip's not for a while. My trip is not for a while. But would you be okay if I sent you over some information to get your reviews much more higher since you're in business and it sounds like you're busy? Absolutely, right? Now, out of that role play, if you don't really plan on going there, well, then don't start with that. But let's just say, like, I like to travel. If you like to travel, type below, I like to travel, right? Type below, I like to travel, right? If you don't anticipate going there, so change it up. Change it up. Maybe you say, hey, I'm not sure if you know, but I found you number 2 on Google. And the other 2 people that I called before I called you, or found you number 3 on Google, the other 2 I called before you, I don't know if they're in business, but they don't even answer their phone. I had a quick question for you. Are you open? Are you accepting reservations? They're going to say, yeah. Why do you ask? And you have to find a gap. Oh, because your website doesn't say so. Or it looks like, you don't have an option to schedule anything, right? And they say, oh, we do everything by the phone. Okay, great. Then you got to pivot. And maybe say, okay, cool. Do you mind if I send if you mind if you have a few minutes where I could chat with you and walk you through a few things? And then at that point, if you're interested, we could talk a little further about helping you get more reservations, right? And it's like back and forth chatter, right? It's a back and forth chatter, and you're going to fumble. You're going to fumble. But if you never practice or start, you're never going to have a chance, right? So it really comes down to your knee-jerk reaction, your knowledge, and your end goal. My end goal is just to have a conversation. I want to get a name. I want to get some sort of understanding of who they are in the business. and I want to get a little email if I can. I don't want to sell them on the phone. I don't want them to feel like their business is horrible. I just want to get who's who. Because most likely the person I'm speaking to is maybe not the person that makes the decision anyway, right? So that's how you start to really start those conversations. And then you get to name drop those other businesses. Because if you start name dropping those other businesses, they're going to know that you are familiar with their competition, right? And obviously, looking for businesses with recent negative reviews is a strategy. With low reviews is a strategy. With high reviews but a low score is a strategy. You just got to do something and then build it into your strategy. So let's talk a little bit about the prospecting strategies, right? So, in order to start a conversation, you have to be the one to start it, right? So you have to get out of your comfort zone and make the phone call. If you're just going to send emails, maybe somebody responds back. Maybe somebody responds back. If you're afraid of the phone or you're not a fan of the phone, I say you're better off at least starting some messenger conversations and then making a phone call to follow up with that messenger conversation, right? Like, so for example, if I'm not in the mood to be on the phone, I'll send some messages with like a question, a short question. Maybe I'll say, what's the best way to get some pricing? And I'll send that message out to the business page. And then I'll do a little bit of research on who's the owner, because the owner's definitely on social media. The owner's name's listed somewhere, right? And we'll get into some of that. How do you find who's who, right? But you want to put a name to the business. If you're just going to reach out to a business blanket, you're not getting anywhere. There's got to be a human. You need the human. The human in the business, you're the gap in between, right? So you got to have a human as part of that business. You got to move on. There's so many more businesses out there. You don't have to just stick with one, but get a human in the middle, right? So the phone call, the email, the stopping by in person, right? That's like people get to see your personality. That's where it really starts to build momentum, right? And obviously, leveraging virtual networking. If any of you do any networking online, whether it's attending networking events, whether it's hosting your own networking events, or you attend in person, go ahead and comment, I do networking, or I attend networking events, or just let me know that you participate in some sort of networking. Type that below. The sweet part about that is it's a little bit of the long game, but not always, because somebody could be thinking about something for a long time, and by chance, right time, right place, you're there, they sync with you, let's talk business. Because a lot of people do prefer to work with somebody in person and hyper local. They don't prefer to work with somebody online or some random salesperson. See, the difference here is that you're the owner, you're the entrepreneur, or your team that will be doing this on your behalf has a direct line of communication and connection to you. Where these other big companies, they just have salespeople that are out and about, and the salespeople's job is to get customers, and the problem is that they get bombarded, so they can't give you the service. So the people part is so key, and emphasizing on that, right? And then who you meet in person or online through a networking event, you got to connect with them on social media. So I say you have the big three lined up. You have Facebook, profile presentable, ready to go. LinkedIn, a presentable profile, ready to go. And you have Instagram, a presentable profile, ready to go. With those three, you can't go wrong. With those three, someone say, hey, you use social media? Yeah, what do you use? What do you use best? Not what you use, is what they use. Oh, I like Facebook, or I like LinkedIn. Okay, cool. I'll give you my LinkedIn. I'll give you my Facebook. Here, connect with me here. Here, add me on Instagram. You got to keep that connection going, because if you don't, you miss out on the follow-up. Who agrees that the follow-up is important? It's all in the follow-up. Follow-up in the sense of responding back to messages, Follow up in the sense of saying what you're going to do and letting them know that it's done. Follow up as in, hey, I'll get back to you, actually getting back to them. Very important. The follow up is key. But how do you follow up today? The likelihood that you go back to that networking event the next month or the next week really depends on a few things. Are you a member there? Do you have the time to just schedule permit? Is it close by? Did you have a good time? Was it your fit? You may never go back to that event. That event may never happen again with the same people in that room. So here's what I want you to keep in mind. As you go out and about, you build relationships, and then you get them on your social media, and then you get their information to put in your high-level CRM. Put it in your CRM. Now, pro tip, if you use high-level mobile app, you could actually use our new business card scanner. Now, I don't know how many folks have business cards, but there are still a bunch of business cards out and about for formality, right? So someone has a business card, go ahead and scan it. It'll take that information and put it right into your high-level contacts, right? If they don't have a business card, maybe they have a QR code. Maybe they have like a tap mechanism. But get that information and then start that conversation with the text, WhatsApp right away. I always say go text WhatsApp right away, so that way my name and my photo is there to continue. See, people will do this stuff real quick, chit chat, and then leave. And then they'll go back to their phone and they'll do this. They'll scan. And when they scan, they say, oh, who's this? I don't know this number. Or if they didn't save your name on your number. Or they open it like, oh, I don't remember that, delete. Or if they see your photo, oh, I remember him, I remember her. So another pro tip. In high level, go ahead and create your digital business card. You may be asking, how do I do that? Won't get it too deep in the weeds here, but you want to create your digital business card. You want to use a mobile-friendly page on your website or your funnel or whatever you use, and almost duplicate a link tree style where it has the links, your logo, maybe your photo. We have templates in the website section of High Level for those link trees that you could use. Have one of those connected to your website, have the link ready to share, add that link to the home section of your phone. So you could push the button down, it'll say share. You could share it where you want. Or you can get fancy and get one of those NFC tap cards and program that. Totally up to you. But why am I saying this? Because in the comments on YouTube, it was said, who uses business cards? Only small towns. And where you're at may not be a small town, right? Where you're at may be a techie audience. They may actually judge you if you have a business card, or you may judge them. So digital, you can't go wrong, but you have a backup plan. If you get paper thrown at you, you could scan it and then toss the paper away if you need to. Or if you lose it, no problem, right? Awesome. So key takeaway, use the business card app in High Level, create your link tree, and then also connect with them on social media on the preference of yours, whether it's LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, just stay connected. They will look and watch you. Now, we spoke briefly about this. You could take a screenshot, you can keep it, but this is community involvement. This is business-to-business networking. You have business events that are one-offs. These typically happen like on an eventbrite.com. They happen on a meetup.com. They happen virtually. They're big trade shows by industry, by products. There's a whole bunch of events going on. If you like to business party, all of these places have a little sort of business party, whether it's wine, drinks, food, chatter, breakouts, networking, music. This is where to go. Now, why is that important? Why is that relevant? Because people want to go where they're comfortable, right? So if people are going somewhere where they feel like they're in an interview, well, they're not going to go if they don't need a job. Most people that go to networking, they're not going for a job. They're going to meet people to either network with them, to expand their awareness, right? Watch or see what's going on in the area, or bring on new customers. And these business events and groups, they typically start by being promoted on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram, in Facebook groups, on LinkedIn. People post flyers all the time. They're posting links to sign up. So the information is online if you use a Google search. Get a little creative, do a little research, and you will find what you want. Now, again, this always comes up. I always get a few people that say, hey, look, I have a side hustle. I work for a company now. They don't really know I have this type of business. I don't want to be a salesperson. I just want to run my software business and give great service and just do what I love to do, which is be more techie, right? That's fine. So then this is for you, right? I don't need you to wear a suit and tie and a briefcase and walk down around and knock door to door. Absolutely not. But here's what I need you to do. I need you to have a personality. I need you to be excited. I need you to be approachable. I need you not to have this negative energy where people are afraid to talk to you. You don't want to walk with your arms crossed. You want to give a good welcoming style so people want to network with you. Don't be the person that tries to be rude in front of a room of people or just standoffish, because they're going to end up saying, hey, get out of here. You're not part of our crew. This is not working, right? So make sure you have that in the back of your mind, right? That's the most important part. And then when you go to a BNI virtually on a Zoom like this, right? LaTip, Happy Networking Project, Meetup, right? You're able to then use that as your meeting point and then expand. Now, here's the thing. When you got folks, and this is personal experience that I'm sharing, when I meet people at BNI, they all spend about $300 to $500 a year. They make an investment in themselves, right? So they're in a room that they pay to be in. They meet every week, same time, same place, whether it's Zoom or in person. Great people, amazing people. LaTip, same thing, about the same price point, same concept, right? You meet someone in BNI and LaTip, you got good friendships, good relationships, right? Happy Networking Project, another one that I used to always attend. A little bit more of a freestyle. People from all over the world. Majority is Zoom, if not all. And in that Happy Networking Project field, they do some breakout rooms by state, city, not city, by state, right? And they do it by some other interest groups. People show up there at the same time and they talk. But with that setup, sometimes it's a little harder because they're teaching something, and then they do breakout rooms. So maybe you meet 1 or 2 people, 3 people at a time, and then that's it. So if you're okay with the long game of meeting a few people as you go, great. Maybe you sponsor some of these events and your logo is on their website. You're sponsoring a breakfast, so you get that type of promotion. Or maybe you just invest and you join a group that you're meeting consistently, and they become your extended sales team, their extended referral network, right? Now, Meetup, another great one that I personally use, right? They all fluctuate by the area that you're in, time. I mean, it all changes, right? But Meetup is nice because, again, they usually do in-person and virtual. It's easy to navigate. And again, you can go by interest groups, area, and just want a room full of people. Give me a room full of people, and I'll do what I got to do to make it worth my time. But if I go in with the mindset of there better be millionaires there better be business people there better be contractors there, I better get something out of it, you're lost. Don't even waste your time. Just don't even go. Because that's the negative energy I was sharing, that people are going to not want to talk to you. You're going to have commission breath. Whether you're in sales or not, you're going to smell like you want money and money only. People want relationships. That's why they go to these things, to build what's in it for them over time, not on the spot, right? And now, to expand on the networking, whether it's in person or virtual, these are some ways you can do so. So every area in the United States, different countries and regions, they have some sort of chamber of commerce, whether it's state, region, city, village, they have a chamber of commerce. They usually host events in the morning time, once a month, twice a month. They sometimes do events where there's like tables where you could buy a table and like a vendor, right? And they have other chambers or other people that come in. But what's really great about them, and I'm just going to let the cat out the bag here a little bit for you. We actually created for you a Canva easy to edit PowerPoint presentation or Canva presentation. Right? I'm dating myself by saying PowerPoint presentation, a Canva presentation that you can use if you either get asked to, or you volunteer, or you pay to present, right? There's different situations. So that way you can talk about reputation and the benefit of reputation. Now, with these types of events, and I can't go through all of them, but I'm going to touch on local chamber because that's where the bread and butter was for me. And I've seen others, and conversations I have with other people that have experienced it have similar stories. With the Chamber of Commerce, because they want to be educated, they're at different stages of their business, right? A lot of new people join there because they just joined the chamber and they want to just be educated. So you educate them by telling a story around reputation management. You get into the benefits, you get into how it can help them, right? And now they start to, after you do your presentation with the slides and everything, they say, hey, could you help me with that? Or what do you recommend? Or they'll like start with something like really humble, like, I'm not techie, or I don't know what to do. Like, this is not for me. I mean, what do you do in my case, right? And that's the conversation starter. And when someone comes up to you after that, then it's your job to be the capitan. You got to be the one to maneuver the conversation ship. And but just like a cruise ship, the cruise ship can't move super fast. You got to go smooth. And you go smooth by your transition statements. You go smooth by the questions you ask. You go smooth with some pauses, and you go organic and authentic, right? John, what is organic, authentic? Like, just be yourself. And if yourself is something that you think would not be okay, like because maybe you're a little too loud, or maybe you're too direct, well, then you got to make a couple tweaks. You got to make some couple tweaks to be approachable, right? So to continue on here, industry association events, painters associations, plumbers associations, they host meetings from time to time. Military associations have events. School associations have events. Then you got like the small business networking groups that there's no pay to join. They're just, a couple of realtors, a couple of professionals, different industries. They meet once a week or every other week or once a month at the coffee shop, and they just talk, right? You got to want to talk to people. And then you have others similar to that, the trade shows. Those are the ones that you find at the big convention centers nearby. You find them at the big hotels nearby. And typically those vendors, a lot of cases, they work for the bigger business because the tables are expensive, especially if they're big trade shows. But you'll also find people that are like-minded, that are walking around as spectators to learn about it. And what's great about like trade shows and expos is they have like breakout sessions. And a lot of them now have like business card exchanges. Like, here at 12 o'clock, you can meet and, speed networking, right? Or, hey, drop your business card here. Or, hey, present a 30-second pitch, 30-second elevator pitch, right? And they have these little workstations where they get creative, and you could tell your story, because people like stories. People like to see personality. They don't want to just know you do reputation management. They don't care that you do reputation management. They want to know what you do for people to help them grow, help them make money, but also how you help them bring the best out of themselves, right? Like, you're a human just like them, so treat them like it. So, you also have professional development workshops. What I've experienced and participated in and collaborated with was with the Small Business Association. They're throughout the world. They're in different areas, some more than others. But the Small Business Association is great because they do workshops, and in those workshops, they teach you. Maybe they ask you to be a presenter or some sort of panel, right? Or you're just in the room networking with like-minded people. You gotta be in the same room as like-minded people, right? And with those professional development workshops, they also have little breakout areas. University colleges, if you went to an Ivy League college, that network is solid. That network is solid. If you know someone who has, that network is solid, right? But you only make it what it is, and it's only what it is if it's worth it to you and if you're aware of it, right? So understand, if you didn't go to an Ivy League school, no problem. Every college, every community college, every school has an alumni. They have an alumni. So participate in your alumni. I want to take a little break here for a second. Tell me how you feel. Tell me how you feel. Throw in the comments what it's been like, what questions you have, what are you liking, what's your takeaway? What's your takeaway now? What is your takeaway now? Throw it in the comments for me. I'd like to know. I'm just going to switch a screen here and open up another tab and keep this going here. Go ahead and throw in the comments what you enjoyed, what you're excited to implement, and we will get continuing on here. Just refresh this. Awesome. Yeah, we have a lot of networkers in the building, a lot of people that prefer social. Looks like we have a lot of people here that prefer in person, which is great. And a handful of people that take advantage of the trade shows and the associations, which is awesome because once you start to get one or two pieces of wins, you're like, all right, this is worth my time. This is worth my time. And that's typically how it happens. It's got to be worth your time, and you got to feel it and see it, right? Awesome. Let's get back to here. So always, question comes up, and I've just baked this into a slide here now. How do I search for these events, John? I'm not a networker. I've never been interested in it. This is something new. I'm open to learn about it. Go onto Google, right? Go onto whatever search engine's relevant in your area. Right? Google's probably relevant in your area too, but not just open-minded here. Type in business networking events in the search. Also include in there at least your state. So, business networking events New York, business networking events Florida, business networking events UK, business networking events whatever city, state. Throw it in there, and you're going to start to see events in the area. Now, the events that pop up, you got to do a little bit of research because sometimes they're outdated. Sometimes people just have bad intent and they're scammy. Sometimes those events require you to register in advance in order to get in the door with a ticket. So everything is not free. So you got to definitely sort. And sometimes, Google doesn't, or even the sites that, other sites I've mentioned, they don't organize them all the time perfectly. So just filter it, sort it, make sure there's a chronological order to it that works for you. Could be by date, by proximity, all that good stuff. So use your filters, more events, eventbrite.com, meetup.com. But here's a pro tip. Event organizers are using more and more Facebook events. Facebook events. So make sure you go into your Facebook events tab, search and sort, because there are always some hidden gems of events in there. See, the event's promotion is only as good as the event organizer's mind, right? So an event organizer might be great at putting on a good event, have everything set up to be an excellent experience, but their promotion efforts may not be the best. They only know what they know. So because they may know Eventbrite, they'll put it on Eventbrite. Because they know Facebook, they'll only put it on Facebook. Because they're aware of LinkedIn, they'll put it on Facebook and LinkedIn, and that's it, right? And sometimes people just leave it on the chamber site and that's it. So you have to do a little bit of searching in different areas to bring it together for you. My recommendation is you have a calendar for each month and just plug in the events. Don't commit to it if you don't want to. Just put it in the events so it's visible to you, and then you can go if it fits your schedule, right? Making it fit your schedule is just being aware of when it is. If you don't know when it is, you're not going to be able to go. So we've talked about networking. We talked about almost like pretty much cold outreach, right? Or making business owner friends, meeting people for the first time that are like-minded, right? And over time, those people, they become closer friends. And then time goes by and it parts ways, right? So You might meet somebody 6 months ago that you had a great conversation, you did some business, you're good relationship, and it parted ways. That person now, 6 months later, could be part of your Dream 100. So what we're going to talk about now is the Dream 100, building on relationships that you have in your phone, right? In your email, in your tablet, previous locations, like, I got, business cards. We're talking about business cards, right? So like, I got a business card that I met a while ago from the SBC, right? I'll reach out to her, and this person was from an event, right? So this is contact information, but it's only as good as what you do with it. So you might have a stack of business cards at your desk. You might have your phone with some contacts. You might have your old phone that you got a new phone and you never switch contacts. Go to that phone. Work with what you have because they're familiar with you. They're familiar with you, right? So that's why it's always important to have a good first impression and a great lasting impression. Because if they don't remember you, you just didn't do enough. You didn't do enough, right? So in order to really capitalize on your Dream 100, you have to know where to go to find it. And then you got to create a list, right? And I'm not saying to create a list as if you're going to be selling them Girl Scout cookies and you're going to be selling them Cutco knives. No, just create a list of people you're going to want to re-engage with. The goal is just to re-engage, right? And now prioritize that based on the relationship strength. Maybe you haven't talked in 3 weeks, 5 weeks, 10 weeks. That's still fresh. Re-engage. Initiate that personalized outreach, and then just keep that conversation going. Now, John, how do I keep the conversation going? I haven't talked to them in a while. What am I going to say on the phone? Don't say anything on the phone, right? Don't say anything on the phone, but keep them engaged by messaging, by connecting with them on social media, by commenting on their posts, by liking their posts. That's how you engage. That's the new way of networking. That's a new way of meeting and staying in contact, right? Do you talk to everybody in your family every day on the phone? Everybody in your family. We have close family members, but do you talk to your whole family tree, cousins, uncles, brothers, extended family, in-laws? Yes or no? Every day, do you talk to the same person, right? And if you do, I got to talk to you. I could take some notes, right? No, you don't talk to them on the phone, but maybe you talk to them through Messenger, commenting, right? Here's a funny story. I used to take it personal when I stopped getting birthday phone calls. Hey, happy birthday, right? You get your birthday phone calls from your closest family members, right? But mostly your friends, your extended friends, people that are familiar with you, they're not going to mail you a postcard unless, they're super classy and, they're very, they're full of manners, right? They're not going to send you a birthday card in the mail. They're just going to, these days, they just kind of go to your Facebook and say, oh, it's their birthday. Click. They don't even type it no more. It just click. It says happy birthday and it adds some emojis. Let me pick this one because I'm not going to give them a heart. All right, pick that one. Boom. Right, everything's done for you. So when you go out of your way and say hi on the phone, you build a stronger connection. Now, John, what does that have to do with anything? It has a lot to do, because here's the thing. The product you have, the app you have, the knowledge you have means nothing without this. Without you and I connecting, talking, you listening, you typing, like there's no connection without that. So my product means nothing to you unless I bring value as a human being, and then build upon value as an expert, and then build upon value as an expert that wants to help you or that you want help from, and then building upon my word, my follow-up, my consistency, my end result. But it all starts with me first, right? My way of contacting, communicating with you. So as you build that Dream 100, have that end in mind. You gotta build relationships, right? So as you see on the screen here, I'm not gonna read word for word. This is what you need to keep in mind, right? Don't take advantage of what they feel about you or know about you. Just know that it makes it a little easier if they trust you. But that doesn't mean anything more then you still have to earn more trust and keep your word, right? So in the comments below, trust is key, but also delivering on your word. Trust is key, but delivering on your word is key. So as you start to build out this Dream 100 list, you need to do a little research. I'm not saying to do a deep dive research of an hour's worth. You want to at least see if they have a business still. Maybe they're no longer in business. You want to see what they have going on their website, on their social media. Like, just do a little bit to know what they have happening. So that could be part of your conversation. If you don't know what's happening, no conversation. You can only talk about the weather for so long. You can only talk about yourself for so long. You can only make jokes for so long. There has to be substance and context. Well, no one cares about anything but themselves in that conversation. So you have to be the one to make it about them, so they ask about you. Okay? So tailor everything around them and then build upon on how you fit in. Right? And you want to see, here are a few things to keep in mind to start to reverse engineer. Could they use your help? Could they even use your help? So if they don't have a business, they can't use your help. So that goes down to the low priority list. They do have a business. If I go to their Google and I type in their business name, do they show up? Yes, no? Can I reach out to them? Do they have a phone number? Do they have a website? Yes, no? No Google business, no phone number, no website, no pictures, no nothing. Opportunity. Because the question to ask yourself is, are they losing out because of not having photos, phone number, reviews, or even a profile? Absolutely. Because people go to Google to get information or to take action. So obviously following up, having good conversations. Don't be salesy. Don't be too pushy. Don't make them feel awkward. Don't tell them, don't be the expert unless they ask you or invite you to be the expert. Just be a human being and just go at their pace, but be just a step or two ahead by knowing or guiding the conversation where you want to go to help them, right? And patience is key. And the overall goal is to personalize, frame your questions to get the answers you need to help them, whether they realize they need help or not. Build relationships and value, and genuine connections will aid the result you're looking for, which is helping them and them trusting you and doing business with you. So, John, you went over a lot of things that I'm familiar with already. Great. Awesome. Then do it. Then you should have no problem getting your first sale by Friday. Because this is, in my experience, in my opinion, this is like 80%. 80% is outreach, follow-up, building. 20% is just saying, hey, this is what we do. This is how I do it. Let's close it. Let's do it. So if you got this down packed, well, then help someone else to see it and hear it and feel it and be the example. So my challenge to you is to get that first sale. If not, follow my lead. Let's talk. Let's share feedback. Let's enjoy. Let's learn. Cool? Cool. So if you're excited about some tools, right? If you're a techie, type in the chat techie. I love tech. So here are some prospecting tools within High Level that you can use. Obviously, your High Level CRM is everything. Whether it's scanning the business card through the business card app, whether it's having forms of that information flowing in, QR code scanning, whatever it is, you want to make sure all your leads and all your relationships are in your CRM, right? We have ways to import easily, fast. You just got to be familiar with it, right? And now you're able to, when you do that, take them out of your phone. This is not the tracking. This is just a communicator. You want them in your CRM, and you want to use the app on your phone to do the networking and the transactions, right? So that being said, the High Level Prospector tool, we went into that in depth yesterday, right? Showing some information, having some information available, or you at the very least using it to be educated. Do not spend hours trying to find research and be a digital detective. I've been there and done that. It's broken my heart, when they say, oh no, I'm not interested. But wait, I spent 2.5 hours to do this. I didn't ask you to. I'm not interested. I already have somebody. So that being said, you use the prospecting tool, let it run the scan, it takes about 2.5 minutes, if that. Let it give you a PDF, print it out. If you got a printer in the car, use it. If you got a printer in the house, use it. If you want to use your tablet, use it. It works in all areas, right? And then the next prospecting tool is the social media integration within High Level. So connecting all of your social media profiles, right? Because here's what will happen. You send messages out, you connect with people, they respond back, it goes into your CRM as a contact. It goes into your CRM as a contact. Then what? Well, if you have your AI chat, it'll chat and talk for you, right? If you have a good conversation, it'll be in the contact. So you don't have to go through emails and social media platforms. It's all in one, right? If you want to get more information and add it, you add it right from your contact in your CRM. And then from there, you could do email campaigns, text campaigns, database reactivations, follow-ups. You can set up workflows and automations. Who remembers that yesterday? The automation tree, the snapshots, right? So I can set it up so that way, and here's a pro tip, do the research when you integrate all your social media platforms, make sure you set it up so that way when you put out a post, you can have a call to action. So let's say I'm putting out a post that says, hey, everybody, I'm hosting this networking event. If you want more information, type in the chat below network. Type in the chat below network, or type in the comments network. When people start typing network, as I completely set it up, it'll start sending out information automatically to the people that type network. So you don't have to copy and paste. They type in network, it sends it out. So what does that do for you? It saves you time. It impresses them that you're fast, and it gets a consistent message at all hours of the day, at all times, while you're doing other things, right? So there's a lot of social media features. There's also, if you're doing ads, we're providing you, as part of our collateral, we're providing you some already created ads. So if you want to boost these ads that we created for you, you could boost the ads. And then when you boost those ads, we have a feature called CAPI in High Level that as you get conversions, it'll tell Facebook, this worked, and now that ad starts showing to more people because of that signal of the conversion. There's so much. I can't even get into it right now. Let's keep it going. But this is modern prospecting. Type in the chat, modern prospecting. This door-to-door works, but it's time-consuming. Mailers, newsletters, postcards work, but not for everyone or everywhere. And they get a little bit of expensive, right? Social media messaging works, but there's limitations. Everything works, but you have to have a good blend. You have a good blend, you have variety, you have a better conversion, better conversations, better opportunities. So let's talk a little bit about social media and online, right? Having a quality ad with a call to action is important. So when you set up your ads, you want to make sure that there's a form or there's a way that people can comment and have everything set up so that way it gets them what they want. So let's say I'm, like I said, hosting the event, get some information or give them a link to go to register. Let's say I'm doing a PDF or an audit or just a quick coffee and chat, share your business, whatever it is. That call to action, when they click that ad, it's got to do something. High Level has a whole bunch of ways that you can make that something to do something else for you. So they click it. Now, what do you want? Now, what happens? When does it happen? That's modern prospecting. And that's how you leverage social media. Because just posting till you turn blue, posting different photos, doing selfie videos all day, it'll work. But it won't give you the consistent response you want if you don't tweak it or add more strategy. Go ahead and type in the chat below strategy. So key. You can have the idea, the concept, but if the strategy doesn't match what your audience expects or wants, then it's just a waste of time. So write strategy, right? And we're giving you the playbook on this. So creating targeted ads, creating messaging, going through micro moments. So, I want them to go to this, I want them to click this button on this email or this button on this ad, and it's going to bring them here to do this. Like, map out what you want and then make it into small moments, because that's how people consume things. I mean, imagine if somebody told you, maybe you've experienced this when you go to the doctors, right? Maybe you go to a new doctor or you have to go to a specialist. What do you expect? Tons of paperwork. That's what I expect. I expect tons of paperwork. So first thing I ask is there anything I can fill out online? Is there anything I can give you now? Is there anything you need now so when I show up, I can get there and out? So keep in mind the entire process and then make it into small micro moments, because those stages is you start to know where people are at in their stages, right? People want to be at a certain stage, at a certain level. Let's get them there. But if you tell somebody, hey, you got to do all these things before you show up, I'll do that later, right? LinkedIn. A bunch of you commented on LinkedIn. LinkedIn has groups. LinkedIn has comments. LinkedIn has, many, many different features, right? Being where your audience is key. That goes back to knowing your audience, knowing your local market dynamics, right? It's like knowing where the party is at, like where is the congregation at. So you want to be in those areas. And this is for the online, because there's a lot of you that want to do this from online. There's a lot of you that have full-time jobs that you're getting ready to leave. That you're getting ready to do your own thing, about to be an entrepreneur of your own. So I understand you can't go door to door. I don't expect you to, but you got to leverage online. You got to leverage follow-up and some networking, right? Or maybe you already have a business, a marketing business, and you're about to bring new salespeople on. You're about to bring new associates on. But you got to teach them, because if you're not going to do it, they got to know how to do it, and you got to show them what to do. Maybe you create a weekly webinar. Maybe it's not live like this. Maybe it's a pre-recorded that just goes evergreen on 5 or 6 different short topics. That is how you captivate, you capture, right? You nurture with a webinar. I capture you for the first time, then I nurture you with a webinar, with a newsletter, with an event, with quality information. And then you say, hey, how do I buy from you? The closing happens organically, right? There's a lot of sayings out there that people will go on YouTube and binge, do tons of research on social media and so on and so forth, and they're ready to buy. Do you agree? Do you agree that people do enough due diligence and research that really today in society, they're already ready to buy, right? So sell like you buy. If you do a lot of research, prepare your sales process to fulfill that research, right? Whether it's YouTube videos, whether it's shorts, whether it's TikTok, whatever it is, put the content out for it to be consumed. So they go through the knowledge assembly line and they say, hey, I'm ready to go. And with all of what I've just mentioned, this is the most important part. This is the implementation. The implementation is pipeline management. Type in the chat, no pipeline, no sales. No pipeline, no sales. Now, I'm open. If you decide that you want to disagree, I'm fine with it. I'm open for the back and forth. But here's the thing. Look, I can get sales by luck. I can get sales same day. I can get sales by identifying an opportunity and going for the ask. But that's not going to give me where or get me where I want to be, right? Building your pipeline is preparing the closing of new business over time, right? So like whether it's a small, medium, or high ticket, not everybody is ready to go to the cash register and put their credit card in. I mean, there's people that go to the supermarket and they won't buy a cheese or sauce or a drink because it's 30 cents higher than another brand. There's people that'll wait for a sale, wait for a rollback. There's people that will spend premium for the same exact item, same exact packaging, but at a different store because the store has a brand recognition to it, an association to it, right? So people buy differently, but if you have a pipeline, you're able to understand these differences as you go, and then you're able to then prioritize, categorize, or push them through the right informational channels, the right educational channels to engage and prepare them for closing, prepare them for the results they're looking to get now. Okay? That's the important part here is knowing what your pipeline has and is made of, so that way you could, in a prescriptive manner, specialized manner, care for it and give them what they need, right? And segmenting your list, the size, their follow-ups, the cadences. See, all in high level, you're gonna have notes section. You're gonna have, you could do lead scoring, so you know like what your leads are scored at. So if you have a lead scoring system within high level, you could say, look, this is a 10 if they have these components. This is the 1 if they don't have these fields filled out. This is what they need to do in order to get to me. This is what happens if they don't show up or they answer this on a form. There's so much customization that you can create your pipeline and your workflow to match what you need. So, do you have any questions? Do you have any questions? Throw them in the chat below. What questions do you have? Throw them in the chat. It's gonna move a couple things around while we're waiting for some questions in here. As I mentioned before, we're gonna be doing the raffle at the end of today's live. So that way you have a chance to win some swag gift cards. And we're also gonna do the raffle on Friday. We have a lot of great things happening at high level. Like I can't even begin to share everything because this isn't the place to do it. But if you haven't gone to gohighlevel.com/events, you got to get there. Tons of events coming up that we have happening. If you haven't gone to our blog, gohighlevel.com/blog, we just put a whole bunch of new blogs. If you haven't gone to our YouTube, we've just put up a bunch of new episodes on our YouTube under the spotlight sessions and product releases. And why am I sharing this? I'm sharing this with you all because the knowledge and information and example you see from high level as your operating system, maybe you take a nugget or two and do in your business because you see it work with ours. See, we have a good sample size that you'll know if it's worth your time to even consider implementing. So I want to make sure that you're leveraging the resources, the gohighlevel.com/blog, the events page on our site, our YouTube channel for all of our interviews, workshops, product releases. So important, right? So I'm going to get back here to our presentation on what we got. If you have a question or a need or a request, throw it in the chat. I want to make sure I get to it. Right, perfect. Share here. And go. So let's start getting into how prospecting and relationship building has everything to do with the product you're offering, right? Because so you're going to get through the chit chat, you're going to get through the conversation, you're going to get through the building of rapport, right? But here's the thing. Now what? because at some point they're going to want to talk business. They're going to want to talk business at some point. So you only could talk business if you understand their business. You could only talk business if you understand their business. So here's what I want you to get familiar with. If you're going to be serving contractors, you need to be familiar with the contractor websites that people go to pick a contractor. Now, these are in the United States. These are the ones that I came across when I was meeting people and talking to people. These are pretty popular on a Google search, on ads. They're pretty big companies. Be familiar with them, right? Because every of these sites have their way of showcasing contractors, their stories, and their reviews. But customers, more importantly, use this as their social proof. Go ahead and type in the chat, social proof. Right? If we're serving real estate agents, social proof right here. Zillow, agents, brokers, realtor.com, Trulia, also Yelp. Because real estate agents are hyper-local. They're hyper-local. There's a handful of agents that want to serve the whole state. There's a handful of agents that serve surrounding states, right? But these agents, in most cases, are hyper-local, right? So make sure you're familiar with those hyper-local sites. Because here's the thing, pro tip. The ones that are on these sites in their areas care about their reputation and their image. I'm going to go back to the contractors. The contractor with a photo of him on his truck, with the photo of him on his billboard or her truck, cares about their image. The real estate agent with the photo of him or her on their truck, their car, their billboard, their magazine, the bench, cares about their image. So if their image is tarnished by the reviews, by the lack of a digital standard presence, they know it, or they're being told it, they just don't know where to go, or they believe it's expensive. They believe it's expensive. So instead of taking money out of my pocket and being sales pitched every day, I'm just going to leave it how it is. That's how people think sometimes. From personal experience, that's what I've uncovered. And maybe you have too. If you have personal experience, jot it down below. What's your personal experience with people and their reputation and their image? Healthcare, chiropractors, physical therapists, psychologists, counselors, eye doctors, dentists, they're on these sites too. Some are on some or one, some are on all, plus more. Their image with their picture, with their profile, their building, all tells a story. I take it serious. I care. It's important. Right? So keep that in mind psychologically. Sales, psychologically, has everything to do with what we want others to see and know. Right? So you're also going to be able to find out who are the big names in the area. Who are the big doctors? Who are the big surgeons? Who are the big hospital networks? Who are the big experts? Who don't you not go to because their reviews are really bad or the complaints are really bad? So that'll all be on these sites. Leverage it, right? Restaurants, Yelp, great. Maybe you love Yelp, maybe you don't. Maybe you use it, maybe you don't. But I'll tell you this, I press the reserve button at times on Yelp and on Google because every restaurant I go to these days, they want you to have some sort of reservation because they want to have an idea of how busy they're going to be. That's the momentum that's being built, right? Pre-plan your day, your staff, your food, your expectations. So reservations are important. They make it easy to do so. So these restaurants are on there, especially new ones. So when someone opens up a business, the salespeople from the alarm companies to the restaurant vendors, to the liquor stores, to the liquor vendors, everybody starts going to the restaurant. So if you don't get to them quick, or if you're not partnered with somebody that does sales outside, so here's pro tip. Pro tip coming up. Go on LinkedIn and find the top President's Club Award winner in your area, in your region, that serves your ideal customer, right? So, telling this from personal experience, you find an alarm company, a garbage company, somebody who has a great relationship with local businesses and they've won president's clubs or they've won awards or they have a great online presence and they're out there, well, they're going to throw referrals your way. And in return, you're going to give them referrals. So it's a great referral partner, right? But you don't know who's who unless you know who you guys want to serve and who's popular in the area, right? Sites like TripAdvisor, like I mentioned before, people that travel, whether it's different states, areas for seasonality out of the country, they go to sites like TripAdvisor and others because they're trusted sources. Be familiar who's on the first page. Be familiar who's sponsored. Be familiar with who has a write-up. Everything these days is pay to play. What do I mean by that? If there's a sponsored ad, they're paying for it. If there's an article that says sponsored, they paid for it. If there's a banner, they paid for it. So they're paying for their image to be seen. What do their reviews look like? What do their reviews look like? And where do they not have reviews? That matters, right? Not everybody has reviews on Google. They should all have reviews on there, right? So, Zomato, all these other sites, photos for restaurants are key. So just, you got to know how to give advice. Hey, I saw your website. You don't have any new photos of food, right? My wife, colleagues, friends, there are a lot of like photo people. Like before they order food, they check the photos. Me, I just order what sounds good. I stick to my 2 items. I'm good. But people look at photos. So make sure there's photos. People look at reviews. What are they saying? Food was delicious. Food was undercooked. This was bad. This was great. I would order this, but say don't add that. They're telling stories about your business. They're talking about your business. So you need to respond back and you need to be aware of what they're saying about your business. And that's the dialogue. That's like the education you have to give. Look, we're running out of time. Right? We're running out of time here. Is this helpful? Are you getting some nuggets out of this? Because what you're going to watch on the playbook is not exactly the same. I promise you that. This is not exactly the same as what's in the playbook. So both are going to fill some context. But is this helpful to you? Like, are you grabbing some nuggets? Go ahead and make some comments below in the chat. Let me know what value you're finding. And if you're not finding value, no problem. No problem. Share what you wish you would have learned. John, I wish I would have learned this. John, I was hoping to learn this. I don't know why you didn't go over this. Give me both. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. I see you. I see what y'all are saying, but it's all about you. This isn't about me. This is about what you want. This is what you want. So that's why we're making it about you, right? So med spas, these are the sites. They're going to Real Self in your area. They're going to Yelp in your area. They're going to Google reviews. They're going to TripAdvisor, right? So you need to know who are the players in your area that you have to position this ideal client that you want to help them compete against them. I'm your business development manager. You're their business development manager. High level serves you. You serve the customer. Let's just make that clear. Let's just make that clear. I'm here to serve you. You need to take what I'm sharing with you, package it, make it in your area, make it with your branding, and serve them, your customer or your audience. I can't do it for you, but I can partner with you so you know how to go about it. Cool? All right. Keep sharing below. What did you learn? What did you like? What did you wish you would have had? John, I just wish you would have shared this and I would have gave you a 5-star instead of a 3.5 star. I'm okay with it. Awesome. So let's get into the why, right? This is all. So I'm going to throw a little scenario here. I'm going to use Roger. Roger, you own you own the sub shop. You own the sub shop. I meet with you. I meet you online in the Facebook group. We're going back and forth. I got you, and I got like a bunch of other business owners that I have in my messenger, right? And I'm talking to you, and then I put you to the side. I'm talking to this one. My pipeline is filled. I got a huge pipeline, all in my one little area. So I got Roger, his sub business, and I got all the other businesses in the area. I got a nice pipeline, and I'm name dropping. Hey, we're talking to this one, or hey, are you familiar with this one? How about this plaza? Right? I got my area. I finally get Roger in my stage 7. Let's call it my stage 7. Stage 7 out of 10. My assembly line, my pipeline, right? Stage 7 is now I'm going to his business, or I'm talking to him online. We're going to get into business now, right? So with that being said, I need to say, here, look, Google's important. You obviously are aware of it. These are some things you want to mention, not all at once. You want to be knowledgeable to include as needed. See, what you don't know is what could hurt you. What you know is what you could be protected from or use to help others. So make sure you're aware, right, of what and how Google works with our platform and what it does for your potential customers, right? And here's why, right? Because it's a high trust factor and there's insights and people use it because they're understanding and it tells them a story about how they should be working with their customers. So how does this work for Roger, the sub shop owner? Well, look, Roger, unless you want to give all your money to these online ordering apps and they take 30 to 40% of your earnings, you have to get your own organic traffic that comes to you directly. Or you're going to pretty much just have a partner in your business and you're going to have multiple partners. Because if this company wants 30% and then you go to this company, they want 35%, you lost half your business, if not more. So you get rid of that by having a great online presence and they're coming to you directly. But John, how do I do that? You got to have great reviews. You got to have great food photos. You got to have great website, people to find you. Be found. If you're found, you could be chosen. If you could be chosen, you could be spoken about. You could people raving about you. And here's the thing, Roger, for your sub shop to grow, you have to be locally easy to find, locally raved about. And us helping you with that improves your local presence, AKA SEO. Gets a little bit more complicated, Roger, but now's not the time. Just know that it all correlates together, and I'll show you how in a few. And for you, the benefit, Roger, is you're going to have everything in the palm of your hand. So you don't have to log into different areas. So I'm excited because you're not too techie. I'm going to show you the untechie way to be in the know. Right? So for you, I need you to know as the service provider, as the marketer, as the agency, as the freelancer, that High Level has an integration where you can connect your Google business profile for your customer, right? And it can do the messaging until the messaging goes away. If the messaging comes back, you can do the messaging again. The reviews, the hours, all that stuff pulls into High Level. So your customer can see and be and control. You can as well to assist them, right? Also, we have it so you can do automated review requests. So it can send requests and respond to requests, right? So if you have not yet set yourself up for a trial for High Level and you're brand new here, you've been here for the last 20 minutes with me, click the link below. That'll get you your free trial and we'll set everything that needs to be set up to get you caught up. Take a screenshot, take a photo. You're missing out if you don't jump in here. We don't rarely ever offer something where we set it up for you. It's usually set up on your own. So take advantage while you can. We're back to our regularly scheduled programming. So High Level integration, review monitoring. When those reviews come in, they feed into High Level. For you telling the story about the all-in-one, the control they're going to have, the visibility, the centralized dashboard matters. These big companies I mentioned, On day one, that's what they're selling for $300 to $500. $300 to $500, that's all they sell, is these little widgets, features, $300 to $500, right? And then they got to turn other pieces on, right? So you have the ability to not have to resell this by component. You could turn on some things, turn off everything. You have full control without having to upgrade every moment. And your customers get that control from the app or their tablet, right? So, the reviews that go out obviously get notified to you. So you'll get an email, your customer will get an email. And then those consistent updates push back to Google for those positive signals, right? And then you put those reviews on the website. And now, again, this is stuff that you might have to mention during this. These are things that you would need to know because people will ask you questions. So when things get like a little too salesy or uncomfortable, oh man, he wants me to pay for something? She wants me to pay? Well, this was free. They're going to start asking you off the wall questions. Well, how does it work with Google? And what about this? Like, you need to be aware. So that's why I'm including this in the sales and prospecting, so you're aware. Is that helpful? Is this a little helpful here? It's a little techie, but it's important because the questions will come up. If you're okay with a little bit of techie and integration, let me know below, right? Then the automated follow-ups, the two-way communication. So when a review comes in, you could text them back. An automatic text of acknowledgement will go out. An automated email will go out. There's just two-way communication. Conversations are always happening. If a conversation starts with a review coming in, we're going to end it with a thank you. And hey, did you know? Or because you did so, we would like to then insert. So you have that flexibility. Keep the conversation going, right? And the analytics, reporting, the feedback, the surveys are all key because data drives decisions, facts tell what needs to be done, and stories sell and upgrade, right? Data drives decisions, facts validate, tell, bring to the top of the mind, and stories sell the potential, the upgrade, the future. So we've got the right people in the right conversations. We're answering all the right questions. We're using all the right tools. We're doing all the right research. We have our lead qualification process. We've done some online search with the prospecting tool. We looked at reviews. We understand that where's an opportunity. They're not on social media or they are on social media. We have a nice 360-degree overview. We have a bird's eye overview, right? In order for a business to thrive and survive, you need to have a bird's eye view of what's going on. If not, you're as clueless or uninformed as the next person. To be the expert, you have to know the data, you have to know the strategy, and you have to know the opportunity. So we've talked about this before. Using the high-level tools keeps you in communication, keeps things streamlined, keeps things efficient, and that gives you more time back in your day to be more personalized and strategic, right? So leverage these tools. I want to remind you that they exist. It's that important. So now, as we're getting on discovery calls, the term discovery call sometimes scares people. They're like, discovery call, what's that, right? You have to have a conversation, but you have to also label the conversation. So discovery call could be us after a networking event, after meeting somebody or re-engaging them with them through text or email. Discovery call is like a business conversation, right? So you have to have some good open-ended questions around their business. You've done some research. You have to listen. Active listening is key. And then you have to identify or be aware of potential red flags or things that they mentioned or they didn't mention, right? And then maybe you disqualify them or you extra qualify them. You don't have to work with everybody. There's so many businesses opening up, so many businesses going in and out of different areas and expanding. You don't have to work with just one person. Be particular on who you want to work with. Tables turn. You pick who you want to work with, and then you build a hypothesis, a strategy, a conversation, a relationship around them to show them your interest. So, as we're joining groups and we're staying in contact, right? We've discussed this already. You understand networking and your visibility is key, because here's what happens. When you jump on that discovery call, what do you think they're going to do? They're going to Google you. They're going to look you up on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok. They're going to do research on you. They're going to look you up by name. Just be aware. So put out what you want to be seen and make what you want available. So put out good content, education, your image, right? And as you start to build these relationships, whether they sign up as a customer or not, leave on great terms so you can ask for referrals, so you can create partners and create case studies. Maybe you put somebody on a 2-week trial, right? Because you know you can help them. They have a great business. I'll do a 2-week trial for you, but I would love you to be a testimonial and a case study. Build your brand or complement your brand or transition to software as a service by having those testimonials and reviews related to software as a service. So we have the conversations, we set up the meetings, we got everything going. Now they say, hey, show me what this is about. Show me what this is about. So, you don't want to go on a whole soapbox on every feature, every function. I did that a little bit with you yesterday, and I'm doing a little bit here, but we're in a classroom setting, right? We're in a teaching, learning setting, so it's different. But look, you're going to get people to look at their watch every minute. They're going to look around. You need to be prepared and consistent because time is money, right? So ask the right questions, show the right things, and then you get the right result. And it takes practice. It takes practice. So don't beat yourself up if you're getting rushed out or told no or whatever the case may be. It takes practice, right? So they say, yeah, show me what you got, right? Show me what you got. Go ahead and type in the chat, show me what you got. So now you got to provide some insights. You got to do a little, walk through. You got to give them what they want, because here's what will happen. They'll ask you to start showing them things and you get, I could tell you about it. You lost them. Oh, could you show me how this works? You're not familiar with the software and you start fumbling, you lost them. Oh, I don't have it on my phone. How do you not have it on your phone? You lost them. So the minute you can't, and this is where it gets a little bit on the edge, is when you don't know or practice your software or your walkthrough, you fumble hard and you lost it. They timed out, right? So understanding as you're having these conversations, the 4 phases of the conversation of the demo, right? So as you have this demo, you want to understand their needs, their pain points. You want them to talk a little bit about their business, the services, their products. They're going to organically talk about their numbers, what they want more of, what they need, right? Maybe a little bit about their expenses of their business, right? Then they're going to talk about their conditions now. Oh, we're behind. We're having a hard time. A lot of competition. They're all going to talk about, different things or reasons why they think it's not going to work. You'll address those. And these areas take about maybe, 8 to 10 minutes each. Maybe you spend more time at the decisions than you did in the numbers, right? So the conversation is based on the flow of how y'all are working together, right? So decisions is with securing an agreement. And that really comes down to you spoke to them, you chatted with them, they're confident, but they're not ready to get started yet, or they want to see a quick demo, or they saw the demo and they say, hey, I'm ready to buy, right? So this is the ideal order, but sometimes you find conversations jump around. Just be aware of the phases within the conversation, right? You can't get a sale without talking the decision. You can't get, understand the business needs without understanding their story and their numbers. Like you need a little bit of everything to have a big picture of what needs to be done. So we get into this initial meeting, whether it's in person or virtually. You obviously want to build rapport, right? So a nice friendly chit chat conversation, right? This is not the agenda. This is just, right, understanding and who's who and, hey, how's everything going? I'm excited, man. It was great to meet you. That was a great event that we met at, right? Like that flow. And then you want to have a little bit of an agenda, like list it out, 3 or 4 bullet points. This is what my plan with us here. We have 50 minutes. We have 30 minutes. We have 15 minutes, right? They know, that at 15 minutes, we're out of here. And then as you go through that, you start setting the stage, you start having two-way conversation. They start maybe talking more than you. Maybe you have to do most of the talking because you have to ask more questions, but you're taking notes and you're, right? Maybe it requires a second meeting. Everything's different. We can't get too much into each stage or each scenario, but you understand that humans are humans, so you have to really unpeel and unpack what they want. So here are some questions that you can ask to understand if they are interested or at the very least understand what needs to be done, right? Understanding how long they've been in business, understanding their experience, right? The stability of their business. Oh, we just opened up 6 months ago. Oh, wow, how's it going? It's been so hard. Oh, we got work to do. What do you all like to offer more than not? Right? I know you guys have, a bunch of pet products, but like, what are you guys known for? What you guys have a bunch of different items on your menu. What are you known for? Like, you want to know what they're known for. Why do people come here at the end of the day? Right? You want to understand how people find you, how they find them online. How do your customers find you? Right? And understand those channels. And then how do they get reviews? Do they even ask for reviews? Now, most of these, you're going to have the answers to the questions, but here's the pro tip. Until they say it, they don't realize it. Until they say it, they don't realize it. So you may have to bring it to their attention lightly and show them what you mean. You want to understand the challenges. Are you satisfied with the way you're doing business now? They may say, what do you mean? Right? Are you satisfied with your 5 reviews? Do you know or believe you can get more reviews? Of course, John, I can get more reviews. Okay. Well, now that we know that, can I show you how we can do that with you? Can I explain why this is important? Can I explain how this could affect you if you don't do it? Right? So I'm not going to read every question here, but you see it. If there's a question or a way that you would ask it or emphasize, throw it in the chat below. Throw it in the chat below. Right? And you're not going to ask all of these questions on every meeting with every person. You're not going to ask all these questions. Like these, you got to grab a few and then make it your own. But this comes with experience. And this is going to talk about goals and priorities. Their readiness. Is it just you? Do you have a team? Do you have one location? Are you planning on opening up more? Are you using any tools or services or apps to help you with all of what you're doing? Now that we're talking about reputation and reviews, like, have you thought or tried anything to get more reviews? Right? Getting them to have a business conversation about growth is always fun, but important. Gotta get them to look bigger picture, more for themselves. And of course, after all that, you're going to come across objections. Go ahead and type in the chat below, objections. My question to you is, why do people give objections? Why do people give objections? Throw it in the chat. Why you believe people give objections? And no, I don't want the ChatGPT answer. I want your answer. Why do you think people give objections? Right? So Look, John, this sounds like it's going to be really expensive, right? We have a bunch of different packages, right? We have a bunch of different packages. Let's not talk about that right now. Let's more understand what you need and why you need it, right? But here's what I want you to keep in mind. By you investing in this strategy, myself, our relationship, it's going to attract more customers. And that's what you're looking for, is more customers, right? That's what you're looking for, is more customers, right? More customers is more revenue, right? So you want to piece this in. And then, of course, that's not just the only objection they're going to give you. There's more objections regarding cost concerns. There's more objections regarding cost. So why did I give you all these potential cost concerns? Because you need to be familiar and aware on how to answer it. John, our budget is tight. I'm not sure we could afford this. That's exactly why I'm here. That's exactly why I'm here. Because if this is tight and not realistic for you to afford it, under the conditions you are now with the bad reviews and the new competition moving in town, it's not going to get any better. And that's exactly why I put together a small plan and some information for you to look at your own time, and then get back to me when you're ready. Right? That's how I would answer it. What do you think about that? How do I know if this will pay off, John? How do I know this will pay off? Well, I'm going to give you the good news and the bad news. Which do you want first? The bad news is I'm not a genie, and I'm not a mind reader, or I can't see the future. But the good news is that I have a handful of customers that I've worked with personally, that I have case studies for, that are in the similar business as you, that have seen results. And because of those results, they got new customers and they got revenue from it. So results will vary, but the structure and the strategy is predictable if done, monitored, and managed consistently. Right? There's no guarantees, but the predictability is that we'll send out the review request, we'll follow up, we'll make it easy for them to give you the reviews, and then we'll follow up and stay consistent with the nurturing. And eventually, they will give you the review. Or because of your volume, you'll have more chances to get more reviews more often. Right? John, we've already spent all of our marketing money. There's never a perfect time for this, right? But here's my question to you. Out of all the money that you set aside for marketing, what's not working for you at the moment? What's not working for you at the moment? Let them answer these questions. But you gotta have some swag. You gotta have some experience. You gotta get uncomfortable being uncomfortable. You gotta practice. So my challenge to you is to practice with someone. Send a couple messages back and forth. Role play through a messenger. You don't have to role play voice. Don't role play voice. It's okay. Just someone throw you an objection, you throw it back. Right? How would you answer that? So here's my challenge to you. Here's my challenge to you. Right? I want you to give me the answer on how you will respond to our budget is tight. I'm not sure we can afford this now. And I also want you to give me the response to how you would answer this one here. Can we, here, let me give you one here. I want you to also answer, I want you to answer number one. And I also want you to answer number two. Let's just do 1 and 2. 1 and 2. Give me your response to answer number 1. Give me your response to answer number 2 in the chat below, whether you're on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook. Throw it in the live session. I want to know how you would respond to number 1 on our budget is tight. I'm not sure we can afford it. How do I know if this investment will pay off? Right? And here's what happens is skepticism about effectiveness. We have proof of success. You'll have proof of success. That's why case studies, partnering with us, going to these workshops, going to these trainings, going to these challenges pays off. it pays off. Again, I'm your business development support. That's why I'm here. This is why we do what we do, right? So, skepticism, effectiveness. Look, I'm really not convinced this will actually improve anything. That's your opinion. That's fine. This is your business. At the end of the day, Nigel, this is your business, right? You shared some deep things about what you're frustrated with, what you're upset about, the different changes that are happening in your area, the new competitors. I'm not convinced that that's truly holding you back. I'm more convinced that you've just had a bad experience working with other marketers and companies that you really don't know who to trust and where to start. But here's what I'll do for you. If it helps, I'm willing to give you the first 2 weeks on me as we get you set up, and we'll start the billing and the paying after we get your account set up by the 14th day. But the stipulation is this. You have to join the onboarding call with me. You have to, whether it's resetting your password or getting on a computer. I know you're busy, but you got to follow the steps with me. The first 4 steps matter in order to continue on for the next 2 weeks. Okay? Could you commit to that? Because I'll give you my time, because I believe we can help you, and I believe you believe that you want to grow and you want this will make a change, but you got to meet me halfway. Perfect, right? That's how I respond to it, right? Look, John, we've tried similar services before and they've had no results. Jordan, I get it. I understand, right? But I've also tried other gyms and they didn't work for me either. I've also tried other diet foods and they didn't work for me either. I also tried a diet drink, but I'd rather have sugar. That's a you thing, right? That's what you believe. But here's the thing. It also has to do with what you tried and how you tried it. So here's what I want you to be open-minded about. Whether you get started with me today, tomorrow, or next week, I'm going to put together this plan of what we're going to do, how we're going to do it together. And this is going to show you results in each stage to determine if it's worth your time and my time moving forward, right? So we're going to connect this, we're going to connect that, we're going to get here, we're going to get there. This will give this result. This will give us more time as we continue on. Would you be okay with that? Would you be interested in meeting me halfway and partnering up on that? Because I know we can help you in your 15 locations. But I think that because you went with some bigger companies with people that maybe just get paid hourly or by commission only, but they got you signed up and they ran away. That's exactly why I started my own business, helping local customers like you. I started my own business to help local customers like you to get what they need, not someone to take their commission and run, or the company to be too big to not support that person that signed you up. I get it. You ready to get started? Welcome. Almost welcome. Let's get this started up, man. Boom. Right? Now we're getting moving. So you have to have the transition statements. Throw in the chat transitions. Throw in the chat stories. Throw in the chat confidence. Throw in the chat being familiar. Throw all that in the chat. That's all you're going to need to see. If you write it or you type it, the mind processes it. You write it or you type it, the mind processes it. So I'm asking you to do it for a reason. Please do it, and I appreciate it. Right? So as we go on, John, how do you handle fake reviews? John, how do you get rid of these bad reviews? John, these reviews aren't real. I tried calling Google. Gordon, I completely understand. It's frustrating. It is frustrating, but I want to bring some peace and comfort and confidence to you. I have the resources, I have the knowledge, I have the process to tackle each part of your concern step by step. But all of that takes time, What we can control now is what we have available, which is putting my process in place with asking for reviews, connecting your profiles to the platform, making sure you give great service, and making sure that we're responding to the positive reviews. And all of that, I'm going to help you streamline it, but we got to start first. So I understand, because I work with customers and situations like this every day. There's no perfect answer, but here's what I'll say. Every step of the way, you're going to see a change for the better. So if that's enough, or if you need more time, I'm okay with it. I have 2 more appointments. I got to make my way out of here shortly to another business that's experiencing something similar. But I want to help you while we're here, because I know as we get into the holiday season, or we get into the summer, or we get into, right, let's go back to seasonality. What's important to them in their area? Once this new business moves in, people are going to flock to that new business, so we need to be prepared, right? So lowering your local market dynamics brings everything together. But if you're just throwing keywords and phrases and sales tactics, you lost it. Sorry. But we're better than that. Go ahead and type in the chat. We're better than that and prepared. We are better than that and prepared. Type it in the chat. You're going to find the do-it-yourself mindset. We've always seen it. We always see it. We've experienced it. Maybe you're that way too. Maybe you're that way too, right? So, the most important part here for you to know is that if you want to do it yourself, that's fine. But if you want to do it yourself manually with like going to different sites and spending hours to do this, that's going to be a lot. Instead, you can use the platform, your white label platform, you call it, whatever it is, it's called Super Reviews. You can use Super Reviews to do it with you. And if you need help, I'm here to help you. And then there's a bunch of excuses they'll give you for do-it-yourself mindset. There's objections and excuses and lack of clarity for every type of objection. I'm going to get through these a little quicker here. We're over time. Do you mind if I keep going to finish strong? Can I go a little longer here to finish strong? Go ahead and type in the chat. Good to go, finish strong. Lack of understanding, they're here too. Be prepared, be aware, shut it down. You shut it down by knowing what's potentially going to come your way. And a lot of these questions are the same question, just reworded a little bit. That's how objections work. Like, there's no like, hey. There's no like, hey, this is the exact objection. You gave me this objection. This is on page 32 of the Sales Bible. This is on page 32 of the Sales Journal. This is on page 52 on the Salespedia. Here's your response. No. This is just to be prepared and give it for your hyper-local market, your expertise, your knowledge, what you're learning here, what you're learning elsewhere, and educate. The small to medium-sized business owner doesn't know not even 1% of what you know. Fear of change is big, it's real, it's serious. So be aware they don't want to change, or they don't believe you can make a change. And these are some of those objections. Be prepared, be aware, and you can guide them through the process. Privacy and security concerns. So in high level, under the help.gohighlevel.com, we have a whole section about privacy, security, regulations, rules, all that good jazz. Be familiar with it. This will come up. Privacy and security will always come up. HIPAA will come up. Nowhere to go. Help.gohighlevel.com. Type in privacy, type in HIPAA, type in security. These are the potential questions. You have the answers. Results, timeline. John, So here's what you're probably asking, John, why is this all about objections? Because that's a majority of what you're going to be dealing with. That's a majority of what you're going to be dealing with is objections. People that don't understand it like you do, people that don't believe it like you do. So you got to just be prepared. You handle objections, you could handle the conversation flow. You handle the conversation flow by knowing the objections and including it in your agenda. So my agenda will have a handful of objections, but the end result of those objections, not the actual objection. So don't put objections in your agenda, but just create your agenda around potential objections on your discovery call, your pre-call, your research, all those different areas. And again, there's sales books galore, there's sales podcasts, there's sales trainers, there's sales training companies. There are a wealth of sales. But when you take these sales methodologies and you take these sales theories and practices and experiences, you still got to make it yours and make it hyper local for you and for your audience or your industry. Commitment. You've heard me say a few times, 14-day trial. We'll get you set up. We'll start your billing once we get launched within the first 14 days. This is our onboarding. Like, you have to find a way to give, like, shut down the excuse or the objection or the uncertainty and then pivot from there, because they're just going to say, hey, look, John, you know what? I was thinking about it. Let's just get going. All right. I don't need the trial, man. Let's just get going. Right. And go from there. Commitment. These are potential questions, objections. So you've covered that. Now they say to you, because there's no exact way that this is done. They say to you, all right, I'm in, man. I'm in. I love it. Show me how this works. Show me how and maybe you showed them already. Or maybe you went over this on the sales call like the day before, and they're like, John, can we jump on a Zoom? My partner wants to see how this works. Or John, I'm still trying to decide, right? Like, you're going to come across this. So I wanted to include these slides for you to understand how to demo. You have to know how to demo. You have to be familiar with the software to navigate it, right? So segueing, right, the demo around what you've talked about or what notes you have is always important. See, you don't want to give them the tour of the White House or the tour of the theme park. You want to give them a tour of what they want to experience now or what results they want now. So, Jordan, Ryan, great to both have you on the call here. Based on what you both have shared, I believe our solution, our super review solution, can address those challenges effectively. So if you're open to it, instead of me telling you about it, I could show you quickly. Would you be okay with that? Great. So I want to just first share with you that there's 3 features that are going to be the most important to you based on what we discussed. It's going to be automatically asking for reviews at the time of sale. It's going to be automatically responding to reviews at the time after the reviews left, and then sending out a survey thereafter, right? As well as posting that review on social media, right? So that being said, I want to show you how those components work. And then you show them those components, right? This is what I found in my experience working with other so-and-so business like yours. Typically, everything's done manual. Everything's done hand by hand, minute by minute. We're going to streamline this process, and we're going to do it this way. We have a plan, we have a structure, we have a service, we have a flow. That being said, I would like to open up to what else you believe you might need or what you've seen others that you want to make sure you get. Open that up. As you get the conversation flowing, it keeps going. Go ahead and type in the chat. If you keep the conversation flowing, it keeps going. So that's exactly what I'm going to show you here. So you want to use the actual real-time software, whether it's on the phone or the tablet or the computer, right? If you have the ability to walk them through it, you can walk them through it with the mouse, let them drive, right? But you want to highlight the key features that are important to them. You want to show the Google business profile integration. You want to show the SEO opportunities if that's important to them. But most importantly, whether they know it or not, you need to show them the mobile app. The mobile app is the cherry on the top. It's the bow. It's what's important when they're on the run, especially if they're a service business or they're a remote owner. They only show up for payroll, or they only show up for events, or they only show up when it's important. Other than that, the business runs on its own. So the mobile app is key. That being said, with what I've showed you, what you see, what you've experienced, is this exactly what you've been looking for? Well, John, it is. Or, I don't know, man, it all seems the same. This gives you a chance just to, like, no one's going to say, yeah, that was great. No one's going to do that. Maybe 1 out of every 100. Everyone's going to have their poker face. It's all right. It's okay. Great, no problem. Again, because you know the objections, you're familiar with them, you're going to be prepared for them. And you're going to respond with facts supported by stories. Facts supported by stories. So facts are testimonials. Facts are case studies. Facts is return on investment data, information that you've accumulated, or that you get from our resources, or that you work with a partner, or however your business grows. Then you tell a story around it. So the facts are the tangible, the story is the easy to consume discussion that'll continue everything on. Okay. And then they say, all right, man, how does this work? Or, all right, so what does it cost? They're gonna like push you. So not everybody does this, right? Not everybody does this, but people in the opposite position where they have to pull up their money or they got to make a commitment, they do like this. Sometimes it's not on purpose, or maybe sometimes it's passive aggressive or whatever it is, but like they're more like, all right, man, get to the point, or all right, what do you got, or how much does it cost, or this is probably cheap, right? Like they're going to try to discredit or throw you off, especially small business owners. They're going to try to throw you off. Mid-market, enterprise, C-suite, they don't play those games a lot of times. They're just more quiet, and then they ghost you. Small businesses, it's like they want to fight with you sometimes. It's like, whoa, where did this come from? So just be prepared. Don't be thrown off if they start antagonizing you a little bit or trying to egg you on. They're just defensive, and they don't know how to express it. Remember, you're there because their business smells like a dirty diaper. You're there because their business smells like a dirty diaper. It's got bad reviews, no reviews, competitors are beating them. That's why you're there. You're not there because they're doing fantastic, unless you're upgrading them or upselling them. So, look, if you're ready, the next step is really just to get things started. Like, here's the biggest thing. Let me get a name here. Here's the biggest thing, Frank, is implementation. Like, implementation is where all these companies go wrong. It's where all these business owners go wrong, right? So we talked about a lot of things. You see it now. Now you have to implement. So in order to implement, the commitment starts with this. I'm going to put together the package I best recommend. There's 3 options. This is the one I recommend. I'll get your thoughts and opinion. I make it easy. I have a setup fee, and I have a monthly fee, recurring monthly fee. So today you get started. You'll pay your setup fee for $197, and then you'll pay your first month for $197, and then each month on the 24th, you'll pay that $197 each month. Right? So today you'll pay $397 to get started, your setup and your first month, and then each month is your $197. Minimum term 3 months. We'll meet, give you a plan, and then if you want to purchase more, you want to grow, we do more things, you could always upgrade. You want to cancel, 30-day notice, give me a call, send me a text, fill out our form. We'll help you out, we'll understand why, and we'll cancel. If we have to part ways, we understand. But we want to make sure we're serving you. Okay? So, do you have any questions? Great. Let's get started. Perfect, man. Welcome. I'm excited to work with you, man. Here's what I want to do for you. I'm going to give you an incentive for you to, so you mentioned you have the other business. So you're going to pay this for this business. I'm going to give your second location a 30-day free trial on me. So I'm going to get everything on this location at this location. This is 30 days free. This one you'll pay today. Sounds good? Perfect. Let's get both of your locations up and running. And if you have somebody in your network, or you mentioned you do a lot of teaching, if there's any other chiropractors or therapists that need help, send them to me. I'll reach out to them and I'll give you a credit for each one that comes on because of you. Yeah, I'm very generous, man. This is all about networking and referrals. Awesome. That's my style. Maybe different than yours. If it is, type below what you would say or what would you do so we can keep the variety going. Variety is important, right? So not always those calls go like that. Sometimes they say, hey, I need to talk about it. I need to talk to my wife. I need to talk to my business partner. I need a few weeks. I just bought the business. Like, they'll give you excuses galore. Don't press it that it makes it awkward and they block your number. Just throw them in your CRM, put some notes, and then schedule a follow-up and move on. If you could schedule a meeting while you're there for 2 weeks, do it. If not, throw them in your CRM and move on. But don't run away from your area. Still work your area. Still work your area. Okay? So tomorrow, we start strong. In the comments below where you're at, help me tell the rest of Team High Level behind me what you loved, what you like, what you appreciate, or just give a huge shout out with some emojis. Let Team High Level know it takes a team to make a dream. Till tomorrow, have a great one. Throw in your appreciation below, your excitement, your positive vibes, and we'll see you